Yo, what's good people? So I know you all enjoyed the Celestial Secrets video, so I got to thinking what other content could I make to help my viewers, subscribers get better at Battlegrounds, and I ended up thinking of this 10 matchups that you probably didn't know worked. There are a few rules for this list. I can't put an attacker on a list more than once, and I can't use a defender more than once because otherwise this list would just be full of Crossbones and Longshot. So let's just jump into it. First matchup that you probably didn't know worked is Crossbones versus Rintrah. Now we all know when you hit Rintrah, he's going to apply that neutralize to you, and that neutralize will stop you from gaining any buffs. But Crossbones' ability accuracy reduction will completely stop that neutralize from being applied to you. As long as you have at least 4 Furies active, Rintrah can never apply Neutralize to you, and he will never gain any of his mystical charges, so you don't actually have to knock him down with Crossbones either, but you want to do that anyway to pause your Furies. A lot of people would be worried about the Furies dropping off and feeding Mystic Dispersion, but as long as you can play Crossbones well, you can keep your Furies paused the entire match, and Rintrah's SB1 is really easy to heavy counter, so Crossbones is a great counter for Rintrah. Now for number 2, we got White Tiger versus Maestro. A lot of people don't think this matchup works because when Maestro gets his glancing, that's going to fail White Tiger's ability to power steal on her basic attacks. But this matchup is more than doable because you can still power steal on your special attacks. So basically, you just want to make sure Maestro doesn't throw his special attack, and when you get to your third special one, you can power steal a lot of Maestro's power like I'm doing here, and this will push you almost to a special 2. Now you just want to hit Maestro until you get to your special 2. This will take a couple of combos because White Tiger has reduced combat power rate, and Maestro is again glancing our ability to power steal on our basic attacks, but 2 or 3 combos you'll make it to your special 2, and that's more than enough to kill any Maestro in Battlegrounds. Next matchup we have this Starky versus Mr. Sinister. Now fair enough if you think this matchup doesn't work, because Mr. Sinister's whole thing is that he regenerates critical hits, and Starky's whole thing is that he has massive critical hits. But Mr. Sinister actually can't regen damage from the striker. That in combination with the shocks from Starky's special 2 makes him a pretty good option for Mr. Sinister. You know, he isn't the fastest option, but he can do it in under a minute, and you can win a lot of matchups with Starky versus Mr. Sinister because a lot of people straight up think this matchup doesn't work. So when they see you trying this, they might go for an unideal matchup themselves. But yeah, this is a pretty easy cook in under a minute. As you're about to see here, he can't regen the striker damage, and in an actual Battlegrounds match you get your striker much faster than what's shown here. So by the time I got off my first striker here, you'd already be halfway to your second one. 58 seconds ain't bad at all for a champion that relies on critical hits. Now, the next matchup is Peni versus Sentinel. A lot of people underestimate Peni on attack, and I don't ever see anyone talking about Peni as a Sentinel counter. So I thought I'd put this on the list because Peni is probably my go-to Sentinel counter, especially this meta in Battlegrounds. The current meta is Hazard Shift, Incinerate, and Poison, and Peni is just perfect for Sentinel this meta. It doesn't look like we're doing much damage at the moment because we're not, but as soon as we pop off that special 2, all of Sentinel's resistance, critical resistance, none of that is going to matter because all our damage is burst damage, incinerate damage. So if you want a tip for who's good for Sentinel, try to use champions that, you know, have burst damage, incinerate damage, because that's going to bypass all of Sentinel's tankiness. So champs like Kushala, Spider-Ham, Spider-Punk, Longshot, all great options for Sentinel. Now the next matchup is a bit of a biased one, but it's my list and this is one of my all-time favourite matchups, so I had to pull it on here. Nova versus Bullseye. Now the way Nova works is he gains power when you dash back and dash forward, so I'll do that at the start of the match to make sure I gain my first bar of power before Bullseye gains his. Then I can drop my special 1 to gain the True Strike, and it's just game over from there. When I have that True Strike up, Bullseye can't evade me, and I am easily able to kill him before he throws a single special attack. 30-second fight. Yeah, Nova's just the GOAT. But next matchup is Weapon X versus Peni Parker. Now for some reason a lot of people don't think of this matchup, but it's actually so obvious. What's the main problem with Peni? She constantly auto blocks you, right? What's Weapon X's main deal? He's constantly unblockable, so Peni can't really do that much against Weapon X. The main problem in this fight is though Peni will heal block you, and you actually do have to get hit with Weapon X to gain your Fury. So you're going to lose a bit of health in this fight because you can't regen the damage back from getting hit because you'll be healed blocked. But it's a 30-second fight. That's an easy 50k points right there. Next match is Red Skull versus Man-Thing. I assume a lot of people don't think this matchup works because Man-Thing normally applies a ton of armor breaks to you, and obviously against Red Skull that's bad, so they assume it's bad. But what they're forgetting is that Red Skull is actually nullify immune, so Man-Thing actually can't do anything against Red Skull, and most people just haven't realized this. I do not really see anyone using Red Skull for Man-Thing, so yeah. When someone places Man-Thing, literally he can't do anything against Red Skull. He can't put any poisons on him, he can't armor break him, and all of Red Skull's damage is damage over time. So Man-Thing's critical resistance, or whatever you want to call it, doesn't really matter here. So yeah, Red Skull's just a perfect counter for Man-Thing that no one really talks about. Next one is Storm versus Attuma. I really need to get round to making a video on Storm. I think she's one of the most underrated battlegrounds attackers in the game. Not many people talk about her, but I think that's mostly because she's stuck in a loyalty crystal and not many people have her. But anyway, that's besides the point. We all know that Attuma does a ridiculous amount of thorns damage, right? And not many champions can bypass this. Only champions with non-contact attacks can. What a lot of people don't know though is that Storm's heavy attack is actually non-contact, so you can just parry heavy SB2 against Attuma with Storm and you'll never take any thorns damage. You do take a bit of block damage, but you can regen that right back up if you use the Sinister relic. Next matchup is a old favorite. I actually made a separate video for this matchup, but it's been a while, so I figured I'd pull it on the list. Longshot versus Domino. Now we all know Longshot has that 300% ability accuracy, but a lot of people still take critical failure against Domino. Why is that? Well, you can't block in this matchup. If you don't block, if you don't parry, you will not take any critical failure damage. So as long as you can play against Domino using the sidestep method, Longshot is a great counter to her. Longshot can even dex all of her attacks whilst he's unlucky. The unlucky has no effect on him whatsoever. In this matchup, I do find it better just to spam your special ones because you can't parry to get your bad karma on Domino. So I normally go for 2 special ones into a special 2, and that's normally enough to finish any Domino off. Mordo can also do this matchup just as well. Maybe I'll showcase that in part 2. If you want to see a part 2 to this video, let me know. I could definitely make this a series, so let me know. Last fight of the video, we got Shuri versus Killmonger. Now most people would think this is a bad matchup because Shuri lands critical hits, she applies a ton of debuffs, so Killmonger is going to gain a ton of power. But no, thanks to Shuri's non-contact attacks, she's never going to take any reverberation damage. And once you throw your special one, you get them critical shocks going, and that's not going to feed into Killmonger's power gain. So yeah, Shuri's actually a pretty great counter to Killmonger. But like I said, if you want a part 2, let me know. I could definitely make this into a series. That's going to be the end of the video though. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it helpful. If you did, like, subscribe, all of that stuff. And I'll see you all in the next video.